Blackstone Audiobooks presents The Rich Are Different by Susan Howatch. Part 1. Paul, the Realist, 1922. Chapter 1. I was in London when I first heard of Dinah Slade. She was broke and looking for a millionaire, while I was rich and looking for a mistress. From the start we were deeply compatible. My presence in London was accidental, since I should have been at least halfway across the Atlantic with my observations on the Genoa Conference. But when it had become obvious in Genoa that on the subject of the American war debt Lloyd George had nothing to say which could conceivably have interested those pedestrian politicians in Washington, I decided to redeem my visit to Europe by pausing for a vacation in England. I then proceeded to ruin this excellent idea by making a fatal error. Out of a misguided sense of duty to my New York partners, I called at our office in Milk Street, and to my horror discovered in rather less than 10 minutes that I had walked into a disaster of the first magnitude. This denouement could scarcely have been more tedious, for it meant I had to abandon my plans to motor leisurely through rural England. But after suppressing my exasperation, I settled down to business with a speed for which I am justly renowned. By the day's end, I had extracted our resident partner's resignation. By the end of the week, I had a house in Curzon Street, a new Rolls-Royce, an admirable English secretary to assist with my burgeoning correspondence, and a clear idea of how I should put the firm's affairs in order while I waited for a replacement to arrive from New York. Meanwhile, Treasury Secretary Mellon was cabling me for private information on the Genoa Conference, and by hiring yet another secretary to assist Miss Phelps, and working until 2 a.m. for 3 successive nights, I managed to summarize the issues of German reparations, the status of Soviet Russia, the domestic troubles of Lloyd George, and the intractability of the French. Hard work deserves a reward. When my report had been consigned to the embassy for express delivery to Washington, my first instinct was to seek the most elegant woman in London and call for oysters and champagne. It was then that I heard of Dinah Slade. Just as it had been chance which had delayed me in London, so now it was chance that I ever heard her name. I had 2 efficient aides-de-camp who protected me from the continual onslaught of beggars and Bolsheviks, and I might never have known of Dinah's efforts to see me if I had not decided to ignore breakfast that morning in order to leave early for the office. Having completed my report, I was anxious to attend to the firm's affairs, and as I went to the library, where my aides were inspecting...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?